The term creative nonfiction contains an immediate contradiction. Creative involves the imagination, forming a mental picture of something that one has not known or experienced. Nonfiction describes prose writing focused on facts, real events, and real people. Merging them creates a spiky and elegant oxymoron that pits factual reality directly against human imagination. This genre emerged as a reaction to the rigid standards of the mid-20th century. In the 1950s and 60s, journalism followed a strict code. Reporters were expected to deliver the who, what, when, where, and why as neutral observers, omitting personal riffs, commentaries, or internal perspectives. By the late 1960s, writers like Hunter S. Thompson began to challenge the idea of pure objectivity. They argued that pretending to be objective was misleading, particularly in fields like politics. This led to new journalism, where writers infused real-world reportage with highly personal opinions and narrative flexibility. Using the subjective toolkit of a novelist to tell a factual story creates an ethical minefield. Writers navigate this space by using 5 specific qualities, known as the 5 R's: real, remember, research, reflect, and recount. To see how these principles function in practice, we can look at Barbara Kingsolver's 2002 essay, Small Wonder. The essay centers on a verifiable event from the Loristan province of Iran. A 16-month-old child wandered away from a nomadic tribe, disappearing into the rocky, oak-forested mountains. 3 days later, searchers found the boy alive in a cave. A wild she-bear was curled around him, protecting and nursing the child. Kingsolver took this verifiable news report and used the tools of creative nonfiction to bridge the gap between a freak headline and a human experience. The first R is real. In this genre, the writer is accountable to the truth, to the best of their ability to research and report. This commitment to reality distinguishes the work from fiction that is merely inspired by actual events. This commitment carries ethical risks. Writing about real events exposes people to public scrutiny, often highlighting moments they may find unflattering, or remembering the same situation in a completely different way. Writers use the second R, remembered, to bridge the distance between these facts and the reader. Kingsolver invites us to empathize with the Iranian parents by describing her own memory of temporarily losing her daughter and the panic that followed. Memory is fallible, prone to distortion upon retrieval. Our brains often alter details to protect our self-image. Despite this, creative nonfiction relies on memory for subjective perspective. Writers manage this by signaling when a detail is a recollection rather than proven fact. Because memory is prone to error, the writer must anchor their internal perspective to external investigation. That anchor is the third R, researched. Kingsolver did not rely on the initial shock of the story. She traced news archives through multiple sources to confirm the report that the baby had truly been nursed by the bear. In fiction, research is intended to be invisible, supporting the background of an imagined story. In creative nonfiction, the research is often the central focus, the core evidence that justifies the essay's existence. The fourth R, reflectional, moves the narrative beyond simple reporting. It is where the author ruminates on the experience to find its significance. Kingsolver uses reflection to speculate on the bear's behavior. She considers the shared DNA code of mammals and the biological drive of a mother's instinct, offering a possible explanation for why a predator would choose to nurse a human infant. This reflection provides what scholars call the so what factor. It links the data of the Iranian news report to a wider observation about the biological connections between species. The final R is retold. This is where the writer employs literary craft, sensory details, characterization, and pacing to organize the factual data into a compelling narrative. Kingsolver uses these elements to create suspense. She describes the dim red darkness inside a yurt as parents check common hiding places, focusing on the specific beat-by-beat unfolding of the search rather than a clinical summary of the police report. This attention to how the story is told allows the audience to experience the weight of the facts rather than just processing them as information. If this account were pure journalism, it would be a brief, unusual headline. If it were presented as fiction, the central miracle of the nursing bear would likely be dismissed by the reader as unbelievable. The 5 R's work together to create a genre defined by both factual accountability and narrative depth. By combining research with personal reflection, the writer validates the event while providing the reader with a way to understand it. The goal of this genre is not to present a sterile, perfectly objective truth that satisfies every witness involved. The 5 R's provide a framework to filter the objective world through a human voice. This process uses research and craft to turn a list of facts into a moment of illumination.